This is Ananda, and this is Invitations from Spirit for the week commencing the 6th of April 2026. So the tool which I will use at this time to gain a better understanding of the invitations from Spirit, from energy for this week is this deck, and it's Sterni Amori's Soul Freedom Energy Card Deck. So I'm just going to take the cards out and set the intention that we have the most perfect information, and it comes from complete unconditional love and acceptance. It's clear, it's concise, and it is accurate. Okay, so there we are. That's the intention. Okay, so I'm going to cut it and choose which side. So it's going for the right side, and I'm cutting that again, and it's going for the left side. So I'm just cutting it and cutting it until we come down to just one card. Excuse me. I hope it's nice where you are. I know that in some parts of Canada there is snow. At the moment, it's beautiful and sunny. For us in London, at least. How long that may last, who knows? And this is the card. Oneness. So last week we had a spirit connection, and this week we have oneness. Okay. Now, I know that this particular, perhaps I say this all the time, but the astrologers have been speaking out a lot about how 2026 and the time in February when we had the start of the eclipse season, but it started a huge new cycle in a sense. So the invitations are, what do you want? Do you want the same old stuff happening where we're constantly fighting each other and our politicians are corrupt, and yes, and there's starvation in countries, and there's terrible things happening, unspeakable things happening, and we're being asked, what is it do you want? Because when one hurts, when one part, if you have one part of your body which is in pain, all of, if my finger, I stub my finger, it hurts, and I might be able to ignore it for a little while, but I'm in pain, basically. It's not something separate, it's a part of me, and we are all part of a whole. Yeah, we are all connected, whether we understand, agree intellectually, appreciate. We are all living on this planet, one planet at the moment, and when the volcano erupts in one part, the whole feels it. Yeah, and when we have people hurting, the rest of us feel it in some way or the other. Okay, in some way or the other. Whether it's access to particular things which that country produces or ships out, or whatever. We all, and perhaps if a country is in crisis, we tend to step up as a community and as a society to try to help. Because we understand what it's like to be in pain. We understand what it's like to be joyful and have celebration. But also we understand and we can empathize with sorrow and yes, and the horrors of war. So really we're being asked to understand the oneness, which is what we are. We are not separate, and it is time to be the change that we want to see in the world, and start this small, as a person, one person out of how many billion nowadays, yeah? We're growing as a species on the planet, okay? And maybe there are many billion, I don't know. But one out of many billion, we can start to embody and to really be more loving and accepting of ourselves, because really all shadow work, all change within ourselves has to start with loving ourselves as well, loving ourselves. And if we find there are parts of ourselves which are unsavory to us, then that's called a shadow, yeah, something we don't really want to see, something we want to push away. But if one person or a few people have shadow, and the others, the rest of us can feel and can understand. So we must start to deal with that, and start to love and accept it and work with it in whatever way we see fit. There's so many modalities, as I've said before, which can help with different ways that we all like to work, and we all find easier to work and easier to handle. So being the change that we want to see in the world will start the ball rolling, will start the healing process for all of us, because at some point or the other, our ancestors, our grandparents, our parents may have lived through war, and they still carry that pain and that worry and that fear, the survival instincts, okay? And so there is much work to be done. However, all it takes is the first decision, and it comes from the understanding that we are really one, and we cannot separate from the others, and we will inevitably feel each other's pain, sorrow, but also joy, love. Okay, so let's just remember that this week we are being reminded that we are all one, and we all have a responsibility towards the whole. And it's simple, just dealing with your stuff and the oneness within, instead of turning away from that which we don't want to look at. I'm giggling because I'm thinking of many things I have to do today to sort out, which I have been avoiding, but which really need to be done. So that's one way I might be able to try to help with myself, and also with anyone else around me. Yeah, but just by doing it in our own small way, we will help with all of us, with the oneness that we are. Okay? And when more and more of us can understand that really we are one as a species, we will be able to really appreciate and understand that when we're not just one a lot of people think that humans are the only sentient beings, or the only ones with souls. I really don't agree. I'm sorry. I think that all, even plants as a collective, different species, different types of plants, they all have their collective consciousness. They're all soul consciousness as well. And even the mountains and the rivers, there is a consciousness, there is soul there as well. And when we can understand this, that we are one with this planet, we are part of this planet, an intrinsic part of this planet, we'll be able to then understand we're not the only ones here, and there are other races, other star races, and it's a time to allow our consciousness to expand beyond just the focus here. Okay. And I think for many of us, we may find that there's going to be a greater understanding of soul families and what they really are. And they may not all be here on Earth. They may be in other places. Parts of our soul may also, this is only just one part of my soul projecting in this body. And I know very much that there are other parts of me in this universe. And yeah, so what does that mean? What does that mean for me or for you? What does that mean for what we believe is our role on this planet, or the extent of our role on this planet? So it opens up a whole box of things to discuss and things to think about, yeah, which may stretch our understanding of life, what life might be, okay, what consciousness is. So I hope that this is useful. Have a wonderful week. By the way, it's the number 11 double ones. Yes, if you're into numerology, you can check that out. But have a wonderful week. I hope you had a lovely Easter and that you felt the energies and the invitations for rebirth as well, with the stories of Yeshua and the resurrection. But really it's very much about rebirth, the opportunity for rebirth for us as a species to really decide what we want to appear as, to be. Okay, so thank you very much. Have a wonderful week and enjoy wherever you are. Namaste.